Right, as mentioned earlier, Korea's daily tally has hit above 200,000. Authorities, for their part, have called for a calm and cautious approach to the current situation. For more, I have Kim BO-KYOUNG here in the studio. BO-KYOUNG, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me, Sunny.
Right, let's begin with this unprecedented number of new infections here in the country, BO-KYOUNG.
Well, Sunny, South Korea has reported more than 200,000 cases in a single day for the first time in more than 2 years since the country's very first COVID-19 case on January 20th, 2020. The number is around 30% higher than the previous record from February 23rd of 171,451 infections, and well over double the figure from 2 weeks ago, that is February 16th, at 90,439. Health authorities said more than 1 million PCR tests were conducted on Tuesday, and around 720,000 of these were carried out at temporary screening centers, which are both record highs. Korea's test positivity rate also went over 40% for the first time on Tuesday, yet another indication that the Omicron variant is fast spreading across the country. Despite the latest surge, the Korean government says there is no need to panic and asks the public to remain calm.
We are fully prepared to fight the Omicron variant. We have revamped our prevention and medical systems to minimize the number of critically ill patients and deaths. We have secured more than 2,700 beds for severely ill patients, and our ICU occupancy rate is hovering at around 50%, while our fatality rate is being kept at a low level thanks to the country's high vaccination rate.
Right, and speaking about vaccination, BO-KYOUNG, vaccine pass requirements have been lifted at public venues as of yesterday. That would be the 1st of March. What has been the response to this lifting?
Well, Sunny, vaccine passes were scrapped at 11 types of public venues on Tuesday, including restaurants and cafes, though business owners were skeptical about its impact on revenues. Given that social gathering caps and 10 p.m. shutdown orders remain in place, they welcomed the change for removing the hassle on staff and customers. However, some experts have criticized the move, saying it may be premature given the worrying spread of the Omicron variant.
There are some who do not know that they don't have to use their vaccine pass, but as time goes by, people will come in comfortably and have a meal.
It is quite concerning that lifting the measure could burden medical staff and health facilities while the country is going toward the peak of the pandemic.
Well, regarding this, the government said the move was necessary in order to concentrate its resources on the care of critically ill patients while stressing the importance of getting vaccinated.
We ask for your understanding on this decision, as the country needed to focus on managing high-risk groups by easing the burden on our public health centres. But we again would like to stress that the temporary suspension of vaccine passes does not in any way diminish the importance of vaccinations.
Right, so vaccinations remain important, of course. Meanwhile, the academic arena here in the country, BO-KYOUNG, kicked off its new year earlier on this Wednesday morning, right?
That's right. Today is the first day of the new semester for most of the schools, and the Education Ministry has previously recommended that schools nationwide provide full in-person classes. It calls for the adoption of remote learning if 3% of the student body tests positive or 15% go into quarantine due to infection or close contact. However, with the recent surge in mind, the ministry has allowed a 2-week grace period from March 2nd to 11th, so schools can decide on their own whether to hold in-person or virtual classes. During the spring semester, schools will not penalize students for COVID-19 related absences, but students are required to submit test results or a note from their doctor if they cannot take their midterms or final exams. The ministry's guidelines recommend students take 2 rapid antigen tests a week and are providing more than 60 million rapid antigen test kits for nearly 7 million students and staff at kindergartens, elementary, middle, and high schools. They can use a mobile app to share their health conditions and test results with schools, but it is not mandatory. Meanwhile, starting on the 14th, even unvaccinated students living with a person who has contracted COVID-19 will be allowed to attend in-person classes. Currently, only vaccinated students can go to school, while the unvaccinated have to stay home for 7 days. While the rule has changed, students living with a COVID-19 patient are recommended to take a PCR test within 3 days of their cohabitants testing positive and a rapid antigen test on the 6th or 7th day.
Right, so proactive testing remains very important. All right, BO-KYOUNG then, thank you for that coverage.
Thank you.